OCN Volume 26 Number 3, March 7, 2026. Thank you for joining us for highlights from the articles and columns from this issue of OCN. To dive into the full articles and columns or explore more content, visit ocn.me. Don't miss out, sign up for our community newsletter to stay updated with every new post. Beeson and Marble were appointed to the Palmer Lake Town Board in a unanimous and split vote after interviews for 2 vacant seats, with Beeson sworn in first and Marble taking oath later. Community Matters Institute terminated its planning contract with the town, effective March 13, after addressing allegations from residents about invoicing without contracts and possible double payments. Buc-ee's annexation withdrawal remained under consideration. The board moved to continue the withdrawal process until its March 26 meeting, pending legal guidance. The town restarted the search for a permanent town administrator, with discussion on temporarily assisting the interim administrator and restarting the recruitment through strategic government resources. The town also moved forward with selecting a permanent town attorney, extending the application deadline and arranging firm presentations before a March 12 workshop and a vote on March 12 or 26. The board addressed questions about checks and invoices, clarifying a printer error and additional IT-related payments, and noted no action followed the February 26 executive session on the Mosley v. Town of Palmer Lake lawsuit. The Monument Planning Commission introduced Jenna Gorney as the new senior planner, bringing 10 years of experience from Pennsylvania, Utah, and western Colorado to help manage growth. Conexus Lot 1 proposes a 23-acre, 158-unit residential subdivision as part of a larger mixed-use development on Old Denver Highway, with nearby areas planned for commercial and industrial uses. The project, approved in December 2025, includes 2-bedroom apartments and larger townhomes, aiming to serve missing middle workers earning 80% to 120% of area median income, with groundbreaking targeted in 2027. The development schedule includes a March formal submittal, a focus on trail connections to the Santa Fe Regional Trail, and a realignment of Old Denver Road adjacent to the site. Density is 354 units for Lot 1, below the masterplan limit of 399, and to maintain scale, the maximum apartment height is proposed at about 41.5 feet instead of the 75 feet allowed. The project will be served by Triview Water and Sanitation District with a renewable water source, and school impacts are said to be modest with potential fees in lieu of land. A public outreach process for renaming the bypassed Old Denver Road is planned for early March. Vertex Consulting Services, on behalf of Interstate Properties Limited, applied to El Paso County for a boundary line adjustment to convey about 11 acres to Monument Ridge West LLC, potentially expanding the Buc-ee's parcel to about 53 acres. The plan relies on county rules that allow an administrative boundary adjustment if it does not change the water supply for either lot. The application is available for viewing online. Public opposition has been voiced, including a legal objection from Integrity Matters chief counsel alleging water supply changes and conflicts of interest. If persuaded, the county may refer the matter to a Board of County Commissioners hearing. The town of Monument has initiated a flagpole annexation process for a portion of Beacon Light Road and the water tank parcel, which could influence future water service arrangements for Buc-ee's. If the boundary line adjustment is approved and if Monument annexes the water tank parcel, the Buc-ee's parcel would then adjoin town of Monument property, triggering a potential opportunity for annexation. The Monument Town Council has enacted an ordinance prohibiting water service to properties north of the Palmer Divide, a factor that may affect Buc-ee's access to town water. The Pike Peak Regional Building Department's 2025 report shows single-family home construction in Monument fell 27%, with 152 residential permits issued across neighborhoods: Jackson Creek 56, Home Place Ranch 40, Monument Junction 39, Cloverleaf 15, Willow Springs 2. Commercial construction in El Paso County surged in 2025, while regional apartment completions permitted more than 2 years ago tripled. PPRBD conducted 266,077 inspections with 55 inspectors, averaging about 1,064 inspections per day, and continues manual roof inspections instead of using drones. The Monument Town Council approved annexation proceedings for Beacon Light Road and the water tank site, with a public hearing set for March 16 and a 45-day window for adjoining property owners to join. A proposed restriction would bar municipal water to developments north of the Palmer Divide to protect renewable water sources, avoiding the 1041 permit process. The council noted solid December sales tax collections but faces enforcement action on several delinquent businesses, while planning to update the investment policy and pursue potential build and state grants for transportation and infrastructure. The meeting focused on Lewis Palmer High School programs, including snacks and solutions with the principal, Ranger Roundup for incoming freshmen, student-led tours, Ranger Connection Center, Ranger Tutor Center with over 4,000 tutoring sessions since 2021, painted senior parking spots, and responsible Ranger study hall exemptions for high GPA students. The Colorado Department of Education recognized student council and gifted/talented students with a personal learning plan and e-portfolio were highlighted as part of student initiatives and innovative staff work in adaptive PE, music, and building trades. Board liaison Dr. Patty Schenk explained how to view live streams of meetings and noted that an additional board member will attend each committee meeting to improve board committee communication. PCAC co-chairs Renee Butler and Kirsten Zook stressed the need for timely reporting to the board, asked for clarity on the Financial Transparency Committee, and suggested term limits and revised co-chair selection to broaden representation. Human Resources updates under District Priority 3 emphasized staff retention, recognition of staff efforts, and resources alignment, with a positive view of staff pride and impact on students and the community. The next PCAC meeting is April 14 at Prairie Winds Elementary, with a 5:30 tour and 6 to 8 p.m. meeting, and March has no meeting. The Monument Academy Board held an executive session to address a parental grievance related to student matters and to discuss East Campus facility financing, with no motions taken after reconvening. The board found that grievance policies and procedures were properly followed and discussed potential adoption of a code of conduct to ensure respectful communication between parents and staff. Mid-year dashboards showed progress toward academic goals, with significant gains in Dible's reading benchmarks and mixed results across NWEA map growth and achievement by grade. An Army JROTC program was approved as a prospective option, with funding details including shared instructor salaries and startup costs, aiming for a 2027 launch and potential 8th grade eligibility. The board unanimously approved engagement letters for bond refinancing and for a 2026 bonds underwriter, aligning with ongoing capital projects such as track and field construction. The meeting also covered calendar planning for 2026 to 27, with approval of preschool to homeschool calendars and consideration of alternate start dates or a 4-day week. The district faces potential impacts from a state budget shortfall, with education likely affected as Colorado prioritizes healthcare and must balance budgets under Tabor limits. Key proposed reductions include cutting capital investment funding from $3 million to $2.5 million, eliminating new hiring bonuses, and delaying or rethinking a self-funded health insurance option for the future. Funding changes may rely more on student counts, which are projected to decline by about 99 students next year, and districts may need more staffing flexibility across schools. Universal Pre-K is currently a break-even program, and changes in per-pupil funding rules may accelerate fiscal effects due to declining enrollment and mobile student populations in D38. The Parent and Community Advisory Committee highlighted a need for clearer communication with the board, outlined its shift to interactive discussions, and emphasized reporting back to school advisory committees. The main takeaway for listeners: the district is actively planning for tighter funding but awaits more solid state guidance in coming months, with ongoing efforts to align staffing, compensation, and communication to mitigate impacts. The Monument Fire District approved the sale of Fire Station 3 to Woodmoor Water and Sanitation District for $1.260 million with a one-year lease of $145,728 to allow occupancy during the rebuild, which is planned to be completed by March 15, 2027. The board also approved a lease extension option of up to one additional year at not less than $12 per square foot if the rebuild overruns. The rebuild contractor mobilization is set for March 9, with a groundbreaking on March 25 and public hearings for Station 1 Training Center planned March 11 and April 6, aiming for completion and training readiness by late 2027. The executive recruitment for a new fire chief is underway with Prothman. A posting will go live on February 26, interviews start in April, and the selected candidate could begin around July/August with a salary of $210,000 to $235,000 plus benefits. Treasurer's report shows 8.3% of the year complete as of January 31, with year-to-date income around $263,395 and projected 2026 revenue near $24 million, expenses around $2.057 million and a budgeted $21.984 million. With $33.211 million in total liquid assets. The board discussed retiree healthcare options, with efforts to explore feasibility and potential plans for retirees, noting current district healthcare costs and the lack of a retiree plan. 2 directors volunteered to assist in exploring options. The February WWSD board heard a report on water theft by subcontractors at fire hydrants, with a call for residents to report illicit connections and reminders that permits, meters, and backflow prevention devices are required for commercial use. The district reported up to about 500,000 gallons of water could have been lost to theft, and some customers have aided investigations using doorbell camera footage. 3 fiber optic projects may involve unpermitted subcontractors. 2025 finances showed a net income of about $570,000 for the year, with 2025 revenue of $12.4 million and expenditures of $14.2 million, and notes that 2024 audited net income was about $5 million. Some figures may be adjusted after audit. An easement agreement with the YMCA will allow Monument Fire District Station 3 to use an existing YMCA sewer line, with WWSD purchasing line rights for $10 and YMCA maintenance for 1 year. The Joint Use Committee voted to participate in a 1-year opioid study of wastewater, with no cost to WWSD and data shared only in aggregate to state agencies. Other operational items included Lake Woodmoor levels up 3.6 feet since June 1, 2025, slow meter replacements due to backorders, and planned lift station elimination and county traffic changes affecting WWSD utilities, with an executive session held and no action taken. The update centers on Beacon Light Road redevelopment being coordinated with utilities, including storm sewers, water lines, power relocation, and internet fiber as part of a project to straighten, level, pave, and add curbs and gutters, which began in 2004. District Manager Mark Parker says the county is moving along on the project and attending meetings with utility providers to plan the required infrastructure work. Parker has received no progress reports from Buc-ee's on the sewer line needed for its proposed travel center, but expects a pre-construction meeting with MSD once a contractor is secured. MSD will not pay for the sewer installation for the Buc-ee's property at County Line Road and I-25, and installing after paving would be 3 to 4 times more expensive than installing before Beacon Light Road is repaved. GMS Incorporated, the district's consultants, reported in January that they reviewed sanitary sewer design drawings and provided comments to Kimley Horn, Buc-ee's design contractor. The NMCI project was approved to move from design to construction, with a shared estimated cost of about $90.3 million and an initial district share of $32.44 million, TMD $25.66 million, FLMD $6.78 million, plus a 99-year wastewater services contract and potential pipeline ownership for financing. Groundbreaking is planned for May/June, with completion targeted for late 2027. CSU and FLMD boards have approved their participation, and Colorado Springs City Council has the project on its early March consent agenda. A corrective review found inflow measurements at UMCRWWTF had been significantly understated due to meter discrepancies. New laser meters aligned influent and effluent readings, enabling accurate flow credits and proper accounting ahead of NMCI operations. A special February 11 meeting authorized termination of a mining contract for the Central Reservoir in the Stonewall Springs Reservoir Complex. No action was recorded at the subsequent executive session. Additional district updates: Higbee Road improvement detours will start March 23 with project completion expected November 2026. A large Sanctuary Point detention pond is being reconstructed with some design costs covered by the developer. Venison Creek Park will receive a new play area in early March, with temporary closures during construction. The district is relocating its offices to 1641 Baja Drive, with most meetings moving there from March 19. Next regular board meeting is March 19 at 5:30 p.m., with Zoom instructions available on the district website. The DWSD board heard a fire mitigation proposal for Willow Creek Ranch from the Arkansas River Watershed Collaborative, including a plan to add 140 acres to an ongoing project and share the costs, with a target completion around 2026. ARWC officials cited mountain pine beetles, dwarf mistletoe, drought, and tight tree spacing as driving factors increasing fire risk, recommending patch cuts to thin stands and break up fuel continuity. The board approved a lease to allow 12 acre-feet of UMCRWWTF effluent to be used for evaporative depletion replacement, at $150 per acre-foot, with Robison covering legal and conveyance costs. DWSD confirmed El Paso County will cover about $475,000 of Well 7 redrilling costs using ARPA funds earmarked for radium removal, and the board accepted the related procurement memo. Financials for January 2026 were reported as on track, with the Holbein water treatment plant back online after cleaning and the Hull plant slated for cleaning soon, a water line leak occurred during fiber optic work. The meeting concluded with an executive session to discuss legal matters related to the UMCR-WWTF agreement and a personnel issue, with no actions taken. The Loop Board heard preliminary engineering designs for expanding the Callahan Reservoir and upgrading the water treatment plant, with Phase 1 capacity planned at 2 million gallons per day, rising to 4 million in Phase 2. The project aims to reduce reliance on Denver Basin groundwater by recovering reusable return flows from participating districts, expanding Callahan Reservoir from 640 to 740 acre-feet and then to 2,200 acre-feet. For the water treatment plant, 14 quality factors were considered. Total dissolved solids posed the biggest challenge, and granular activated carbon was chosen to treat it, with a multi-stage process including sedimentation, ultrafiltration, GAC, RO, alkalinity adjustment, and chlorination. Pump stations and pipelines were designed to move water 52 miles north, with a 3-part alignment and 5 pump stations recommended to balance safety, reliability, and long-term cost, plus standardized stations and fiber optic communication. Callahan Reservoir expansion favors rehabilitating the existing dam embankment and changing the diversion point from Fountain Creek to keep water cooler and improve quality, rather than building new embankments elsewhere. On finances, the board approved January invoices totaling $168,000, received $375,000 in reimbursements for Q3 2025 expenses, and held an executive session to discuss legal matters related to property, financing, and Sundance pipeline agreements. No actions were taken. El Paso County has enacted Stage 2 fire restrictions, barring outside fires with exceptions for certain liquid propane or natural gas stoves or grills, and flames must be under 2 feet with an able-to-turn-off switch. Hot work like welding and grinding is warned against due to recent fires. For grass fires occurred in the previous 24 hours, and residents are urged to be extra cautious as conditions are very dry. The Buc-ee's proposal remains under county-level review with NEPCO involvement. A boundary adjustment to add 10 acres was noted, but the project itself is not approved and a full public hearing or commission vote has not occurred. If Buc-ee's proceeds without Palmer Lake annexation, it would require water court and state engineer processes, potentially taking years. WIA is currently concerned but not actively involved due to unknowns. Financial and governance updates. The WIA has an IT contractor agreement, 347 unpaid annual dues are outstanding, and reminders will be sent by March 15, 2025 closed with a small surplus. Other updates, covenant violations are limited, for related to trailers and chickens, January 14 project submissions with a 100% approval rate for the year, 6 forestry/firewise visits completed, and an ongoing effort to finalize Highway 105B easements and update rules. March will bring the last WPS Chief Kevin Nielsen term. What is the purpose of the D38 Financial Transparency Committee, FTC, and the Parents and Community Advisory Committee, PCAC? To assist, access, and advise D38 on budgets and funding priorities. Such as, our school district infrastructure is crumbling. Holes in the walls and deteriorated buildings. Kids packed into trailers like sardines in a can. Half of our schools are in disrepair, deferred maintenance. One day we may have full numbers to discuss. Teachers are giving up on their calling, sad. And when schools fall down, students fall down, and so do test scores. And our community suffers. What now? How long until it's addressed? Ever? Or never? Adjust priorities? Maybe. In summary, there is no I in team. We are a team. Let's do it now. Gordon Reichel. I read Jim Adams' February 7, 2026, OCN letter, Botox Barbie, with interest and deep concern. Several points demand clarification. First, Mr. Adams displays a fundamental misunderstanding of U.S. civics. Non-citizens, including legal permanent residents, are prohibited from voting in federal, state, and most local elections. Citizenship carries specific privileges and responsibilities, foremost the right to vote in our republic. Non-citizens cannot vote in countries like Ireland, Poland, Spain, or Finland without first naturalizing, yet the editorial implies the U.S. could/should open its elections to nationals from Mexico, Russia, China, or elsewhere. Such a policy would invite unacceptable risks of foreign interference. Broader efforts to accommodate large-scale migration, combined with pushes for D.C. and Puerto Rico statehood, appear designed to create a permanent voting majority for one party, potentially silencing conservative perspectives for generations. Closer to home, unchecked illegal immigration and sanctuary policies have severely strained Colorado's social safety net, paid for by American taxpayers, while escalating law enforcement and deportation costs. In El Paso County, for instance, non-English-speaking arrestees are provided both a county-funded public defender and interpreter, diverting resources that could better repair infrastructure or support citizens. Second, labeling Secretary Noem Botox Barbie is immature, gratuitously personal, and hypocritical. As head of DHS, she oversees critical agencies including FEMA, TSA, and ICE. She has demonstrated intelligence, resilience, transparency, and a results-driven approach. In closing, 2 suggestions for Mr. Adams and like-minded advocates: if the commitment to undocumented immigrants is so strong, sponsor them personally, open your homes and fund their path to citizenship out of your own pocket. I, like many taxpayers, am weary of shouldering these costs through my taxes. I will continue advocating to preserve our nation's security and sovereignty and support strong leadership by Secretary Noem. Will Steuben. The article highlights a range of new and notable children's and young adult books across various genres, from picture books to dystopian series. It features Torben Kuhlmann's Mouse Adventures entry Earhart, The Incredible Flight of a Field Mouse Around the World, noted for its illustrations and blend of fun, facts, science, and biography. Mystery in Rocky Mountain National Park by Aaron Johnson is described as a self-published title about Jake and friends solving a scavenger hunt mystery with survival skills and themes of integrity and friendship. A Horse Named Sky by Roseanne Perry is presented as a standalone companion to a wolf called Wander and a Whale of the Wild, focusing on a young wild horse's journey to reunite with family. The Eyes and the Impossible by Dave Eggers follows Johannes the Eyes, a dog in an urban park, and his companions as they observe and maintain balance in the park amid impending changes, with rich illustrations by Sean Harris. The Lion's Run by Sarah Pennypacker is summarized as a World War II historical novel about an orphan who joins the French resistance and discovers courage through small acts of defiance. The Rover's Story by Jasmine Warga introduces resilience, a Mars rover learning human-like emotions during a mission, and the challenges of Mars exploration, with Fly as a companion drone. The Monument Library's Winter Adult Reading Program ended February 28 with over 400 participants reading or attending library programs for at least 30 minutes daily for 30 days, earning an exclusive Warp coffee mug and a Crumble dessert coupon. March will feature Palmer Divide quilt makers displaying new and vintage quilts and items at the Monument Library, with a catalog of titles and creators available at the circulation desk. Tax preparation help is offered at several branches through April 15, with the closest Tri-Lakes option at Library 21C. Appointments are required and forms can be printed from ppld.org since staff cannot provide tax advice or stock forms. Monument Library programs this March include Storytime, Tuesdays, Socrates Cafe, Tuesdays, Pause to Read, Tuesdays, Toddler Time, Wednesdays, Optical Illusion Program for homeschool students, March 11th, and a range of teen and adult classes with registration required for many events. Specific teen and family offerings include a Teen Advisory Board, March 12th, Teen Craft Group, March 16th, a Tech Help Session, March 19th, a Third Friday Book Club, March 20th, and a Teen D&D Group, March 21st, with space and registration limits noted. Notable workshops include Art for Older Adults, March 12th, Sewing Level 1, March 26th, and a Fiber Arts Group Gathering, March 27th, with details on registration and event calendars available through the library's listings. The Palmer Lake Historical Society heard about Cherokee Trail artifacts on February 19 at the Palmer Lake Town Hall, with Ann Burleyman sharing discoveries from her ranch along the Cherokee Trail. The trail, also known as Trapper's Trail and Trader's Trail, was heavily used during the Gold Rush era to reach the mountains from Oklahoma and Bent's Fort. Oregon-California Trail Association, OCTA, collaborators help mark and map trails on private land and with government agencies to protect the Cherokee Trail's legacy and promote preservation. The Burlmans used a scientific approach, aided by OCTA and a metal detector, to unearth and catalog items left by pioneers across their property and neighboring lands. Found artifacts range from square nails and wagon wheel parts to guitar tuning pegs, illustrating the trail's historical use and the ongoing discoveries. The article emphasizes phenology as the best planting guide in the Tri-Lakes area due to unpredictable weather. It provides a windowsill sprouting strategy using a DIY snail pack with waterproof material, soil mix, and a rolled strip method to plant seeds. The soil mix for the DIY option combines garden soil, compost, and grit, kept moist to support sprouts and mature plants. A rolling, sushi snail method is described: lay out strips, add soil, roll, seed along the top edge, seal with sand, mist, and cover to retain moisture. The piece discusses effective microorganisms, EM, as a non-toxic blend of beneficial microbes intended to boost soil health, nutrient availability, and disease suppression. Confirmed details include EM's proposed applications, gardening, composting, pest control, environmental uses, and methods to obtain or create EM, while uncertainties include the extent of effectiveness and practical outcomes in home gardening. Richard Feynman, a Nobel Prize-winning physicist, pursued painting and drawing under the name Bofi, showing a long-standing curiosity and visual thinking beyond his science. He was encouraged to adopt a relaxed, non-precise artistic approach, contrasting with his meticulous scientific work, and he lived near Caltech in Pasadena. A Cornell cafeteria moment highlights how everyday discussions, like knitting Argyle socks, can reveal insights about applied geometry and pattern recognition. The Argyle pattern is explained as a rotated 45-degree grid deriving from 17th-century Scottish Highlands, illustrating a mathematical shift in pattern recognition. The article introduces ethnomathematics, coined by Uberaden D'Ambrosio, which studies mathematical thinking across cultures and everyday practices, not just formal schooling. It emphasizes that art and math are two ways to describe reality, with weaving, architecture, and daily crafts shown as demonstrations of mathematical thinking and beauty. El Paso County launches the Property Protection Program to alert owners when a document uses their name on a property, enabling quick verification of legitimacy and potential fraud. Enrollment currently covers filings after enrollment, with plans to expand. Residents can register multiple name variations and household members, and property records can also be reviewed in person at the county clerk and recorder's office. Do not remove trail blazes in Fox Run Regional Park. Markers protect the ecosystem and aid navigation in snowy or icy conditions to keep people on the trail. Colorado school bus safety remains strict. Drivers must stop for buses with flashing lights and an extended stop arm, with automated stop arm cameras increasingly used to catch violations. Grants of $2,500 to $20,000 are available from Gleneagle Sertoma Club for local 501(c)(3) nonprofits serving youth, veterans, or hearing health, with priority to northern El Paso County. Applications due soon and funding starts May 15. Local volunteer and support opportunities exist. Tri-Lakes Cares needs donations, Larkspur Church Food Bank offers aid, Black Forest Log School seeks fundraising help, and multiple county/state volunteer programs welcome participants. The main point to remember: there are active programs and opportunities across property protection, safety, community aid, and volunteerism in El Paso County. Thank you for joining us for highlights from the articles and columns from this issue of OCN. To dive into the full articles and columns or explore more content, visit ocn.me. Don't miss out. Sign up for our community newsletter to stay updated with every new post.